Morning, everybody. I'm going to call the meeting of the Board of Commissioners Finance Committee to order at 9:32. Would you please call the roll?
Okay, Zach is absent with notice. Middleton?
Yeah, here.
Quarles?
Here.
McGilvray?
Here.
Powell?
Here.
Miller's absent with notice. Long? Cowell? Markham?
Here.
We have a quorum.
Okay, let's do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Next item is approval of the minutes. I need a motion. Gary McGilvery. And a second. Mr. Middleton. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes are approved. Next item is approval of the agenda. Need a motion. Commissioner Powell, seconded by Commissioner Middleton. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Agenda is approved. We move on to public comment. Is there anyone from the public who cares to address the group today? Seeing no one, I will close public comment. And moving on to communications. I will need a motion and a second to receive and file. Motion from Commissioner McGilvery, second by Commissioner Powell. All in favor? Oh, we need a voice vote? Oh, discussion?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Middleton.
On the contingency report, Lynn, there was money, the board, the complete count committee. Did we put 43,000, but then it says 283,000?
Which item?
It's on page 4 of the computer. 19099.
Okay, that 7,300 is coming out of 2020. That's just the balance that's left. The 43,000 or 46,000 is the balance in the contingency at that, for that period of time in 2019. So the $7,300 impacts the 2020.
Okay, and then it says in 2021, 291,000.
That's the balance in the contingency account.
Oh,
That's
oh.
not the usage. So you can look at the columns that say increase or decrease, and that's what is either being added or taken out of the contingency.
But not just for the complete count, it's for.
There's other items in here, correct?
Yep, okay, okay.
Thank you. Commissioner Quarles.
Just clarity, on item D of communications, what is the ITC Charitable Giving Program grant application for Parks and Rec?
Good morning. Melissa Proust, I'm the planning supervisor for Oakland County Parks.
Dan Stenzel, Executive Officer for Oakland County Parks.
So ITC Transmission Company is a company that operates a lot of the high-tension power lines here in Oakland County and around the country. They have a charitable giving program, which is essentially a granting program versus a donation program that you can apply to. We've actually received money from it several times before, but they'd like to do a lot of environmental community outreach, a lot of stewardship programming, things that just kind of support the environment in general. So we have applied for, let me not mix them up. So we applied for the creation of a new storybook trail along one of the nature center trails at Independence Oaks. So it's essentially a book that's displayed along the trail to encourage families and kids to get out and learn more about nature and experience the park outside of the nature center.
trails being the number one thing that nationwide that individuals want and families. So this is a great opportunity to combine both of those needs.
Thank you.
Commissioner Middleton?
Yeah, does ITC ever work in cooperation with you? Because they own a lot of land, and they
They do.
loan these strips of land that you can put trails on.
Potentially, yep, and
Yeah.
they have worked with some communities, and they're looking at the possibility of expanding that. I talked to the regional contact for Oakland County, Mr. Tedder, and he indicated that they still want to maintain the control of their property and so on, so they may in the future be agreeable to having easements on their properties. So that would be a great opportunity if it comes to fruition.
Actually, out in Novi, where I am from, we just opened 2.5 miles of trail on the ITC easement, and we call it the ITC Trail. And the first day we opened it, it was pouring rain. And in the first hour, we had 90 people enter that trail. It's really terrific. ITC very much believes
Yeah.
in working with the community when they can. You'd think these power lines, it's just a big industrial, ugly strip, but they've done their best to really work with the communities and allow that to happen, so it's a good deal, I think. Okay, so with that, any other questions on the communications? All right, so do we need a voice vote? Okay, so all in favor of the communications, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. All right, next on the agenda, we have, we don't have any consent agenda, right?
No.
So we have the regular agenda. First item is the Management and Budget Equalization Division 2019 to 2022. Equalization Division Assistance Services Contract with the Township of Springfield. I need a motion. Commissioner Middleton, Commissioner McGilvery seconds. Good morning.
Good morning. I'm Dave Heber, the manager of equalization, and this is Kimberly Hampton. It used to be Spruill, I apologize. It's been a few years, but Kimberly, amongst other duties in the office, she's primarily responsible with working with our local communities on assessing contracts that we renew every 3 years. She handles MTT reporting, so that's the Michigan Tax Tribunal reportings, and I'll turn it over to Kimberly.
This contract that we have today is a new contract for Springfield Township. It is similar to some of the other ones we've had. The only difference between this contract and the others is this one begins November 1st, but it will end June 30th, 2022.
Okay. Anybody have any questions? Guess we need a roll call.
Okay. Middleton?
Yes.
Quarles?
Yes.
McGilvray?
Yes.
Powell?
Yes.
Long?
Yes.
Koa? Yes. Markham?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next item on the regular agenda is the Economic Development and Community Affairs Community and Home Improvement Division 2019 Annual Action Plan Acceptance for the Community Development Block Grant, Home Investment Partnerships Act Program, and Emergency Solutions Grant Programs. So that's CDBG, HOME, and ESG programs. Okay, need a motion? Commissioner Long?
I'll support it.
Commissioner Middleton? All right, good morning.
Good morning, great job on all of that. I'm Carrie Reith, manager of the Community and Home Improvement Division, and with me is Carla Spradlin, and Carla is our grants compliance and program coordinator, which is a mouthful, and she does the heavy lifting in the consolidation of all of the community's CDBG applications that are reflected in the acceptance today for CDBG. And she does just a marvelous job working with communities all across Oakland County. So, the acceptance before you today reflects the Community Development Block Grant, which allows our communities to share in a formula for discretionary spending of CDBG projects, which are all reflected in the document that you received on our Program Year 19 services and programs. And this was in the application as well. And it allows our communities to have residents apply to our home improvement program and receive home improvement loans, which has been a longstanding program that has helped people remain in their homes, prevent neighborhood blight, and sustain housing values throughout Oakland County. So that's been a great program as well. It also, under the home program, allows us to continue doing more houses under the home improvement program, plus embark on a new initiative where 20% of the home funds are reserved to create affordable housing, rental housing through our community housing development organizations.
Thank you. Any questions? Commissioner Long?
Thank you, Madam Chair. So I think it was our last finance meeting on our communications, maybe, or the write-off checks. So on I'm in favor of the programs, you know, for the home improvement, but should we have something in place when someone's check doesn't clear, that they don't get another loan for a home improvement, and then we don't get paid twice? So that was on our last finance packet. So I would like to see something in place. Was it a check, or they didn't pay their loan? Well, same thing, they didn't pay their loan. So I'd like to see something, I would have liked to see that money go to someone else that was going to pay it back. So I think we should have something in place. Is there a safeguard that if someone doesn't pay back a first one, 10 years later, they don't get another one? That's my question.
Okay, we have Gordon Lambert, Chief of Operations, who administers the home improvement program. And Gordon, do you want to speak to
I
that?
don't remember the amount, but,
And we did respond.
Commissioner, did you get the email?
no. but-
Okay.
You know, my iPad works it doesn't even charge anymore, so I'm sorry, yeah.
That's fine.
I need to put it on my
That-
phone.
We responded to the question
Okay.
that the chair lady had.
Oh, she had that question, okay.
Yes, and we responded to that question. I can forward that response
Okay.
to you again.
I do.
Okay,
Okay?
so we do have something in place?
Absolutely.
Okay. Okay.
Madam
Thank
Chair,
you.
can they share the response with us all?
Yeah.
Did you get it? I didn't get it.
Well, I mean,
Okay.
Can you give us just a summary of what the letter said?
We have a process where every loan is, applicant is vetted to make sure that their mortgage is paid, the taxes are paid, and the income qualify. And if those items are not current, then they don't get the loan. And so I think we've already addressed to take care of that, another loan.
Oh, I don't know if that's addressing it, because then I'm saying if they don't pay back a loan from the county, not if their taxes, they could have their property taxes paid, they could have all that done, but not have paid a loan back from 10 years ago. Do we have a safeguard for that? I mean, they could be current on all their bills, but do we have a safeguard for not letting them getting that program again? Because I don't want someone to get in the program that's not paying it back, and then getting another loan when someone could get in that program and pay it back.
If in fact they, for example, if they have a 3% interest, which is a very, very old loan, we make sure that that goes to our housing counselors, okay? They work with them, the people, to make sure that they are current, and if they're not current, then they don't get another loan. Okay, so,
So
how do we get the
you're
money?
basically saying they could get a second loan if everything was right.
if everything is right, we have many people that get second loans, okay? After 5 years, there's a 5-year period. So, once the 5 years is up, they can apply again. But again, we go through the whole process to make sure that mortgages and taxes and the whole list of requirements are met. So,
If the property typically the write-offs are a result of either tax foreclosure or mortgage foreclosure. So when we receive notification, Gordon is absolutely right, we try to step in and mitigate where we can to work the loan payment out. If it does go through the process and concludes in foreclosure, then we work with the,
We're stripped.
by law, we're stripped, but if there is an opportunity for the attorneys in Corporation Counsel to work out a repayment for the county, that is a priority for us. And that's primarily the safeguard when it goes into foreclosure.
We do, our division does not, has not, and will not until directed, we don't foreclose on anybody. Our division does not, we work with the people, through our housing counselors. If they don't pay back the loan, when it's due, we put 11% interest on, and we get our money back at some point in time when the property's conveyed. So, the items that you see come before you for write-off are mortgage foreclosures, or tax foreclosures, or bankruptcies. Okay, so we make every effort to recoup our funds.
Okay,
Did
thank
that
you.
answer your
Yep.
question? Next, Commissioner Middleton, did you have, Commissioner Powell?
No, I got no question.
Okay. Anybody else have any more questions? I just have one question, and that is, would you please address the fact that this year there are rental dollars in the proposals that were not there before?
Sure. We had a compliance monitoring review for Fair Housing and Equal Opportunity, which resulted in an agreement between Oakland County and the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, Fair Housing and Equal Opportunity Office. In that agreement, we negotiated to reserve 20% of home funds to begin baby steps toward a rental, affordable rental housing program. And so our community housing development organizations, whose mission is to develop affordable housing, now is converting their heretofore home buyer initiatives to new rental program initiatives beginning in 2019. And that 20% set aside, you will see, for instance, we have a proposal on the table from a Chodo Venture Inc. to build affordable single-family units in Royal Oak Township. And it will be, that project is initiated on a conditional basis pending approval by a low-income housing tax credit application in Lansing right now. So we are beginning to entertain Chodo applications for rental housing development. So we are in compliance with the HUD requirements and rules.
And this is the first year that we've done this, and like you said, it's baby steps?
Yes, it's baby steps, and it's with it's with the money that you would accept today, the 2019 program year money,
Okay.
beginning with that.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else have a question? Commissioner
Yeah.
Middleton?
I have a question that's on page 72. Can the revolving fund dollars be used as a match? I see through this, sometimes we have a match, sometimes we don't have a match requirement. But this revolving fund, it probably originated from federal government, and but as people pay it back, it's pretty much self-sustaining, isn't it, the revolving fund?
The revolving loan fund is specifically identified for one single purpose, and that's to create additional home improvement loans.
Okay, so it couldn't be used for match?
It could not be used for match for other programming.
Okay, okay, thank you.
Okay. Anybody else have a question? All right, with that,
Wait a minute, I got a question. Is this separate from, or is this the same thing that, remember when we received that letter from the presidential, administration in regards to us not being in compliance? Is this the same hub of funds that they were concerned about and how our usage was going when we use these funds?
This is.
The letter we got from Trump.
Oh, not
Administration.
Trump. We received a letter of noncompliance through the Detroit and the regional office of the Fair Housing and Equal Opportunity departments.
Was this the funds that they was of concern? of
Yes.
How we were using
The
it?
home funds, the home
Okay,
funds.
so are we moving forward, is this like a test trial year for them to try to see how we're gonna be in compliance, or are we kinda smoothed over with all of that?
First of all, we are smoothed over with all of it because we've agreed to undertake some initiatives to satisfy the conditions that were put forth in that agreement.
Okay.
One of the key things that we are negotiating is when we begin our next five-year consolidated planning process, which will begin shortly, but it will impact program years 21 through 25. And that document is designed to identify housing and community development needs across the county such that would be funded with resources in the annual applications for the programs, like the one today.
Okay.
When that happens and the needs are identified, we will put those needs from the, for example, analysis of impediments to fair housing choice, we will put those needs in there. Any barriers to fair housing need to be addressed. If it turns out that there's a priority need, continued priority need for affordable housing development, that need would go into it. And then that's where we start designing future programs to address those needs. And all those needs actually will be vetted through those annual applications that you would see and approve both at application time and acceptance time, each of those 5 years.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yep,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, with that, please call the roll.
Middleton,
Yes.
Quarles,
Yes.
McGillivray,
Yes.
Powell,
Yes.
Long,
Yes.
Cowell,
Yes.
Markham.
Yes. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
On behalf of your communities, thank you.
Do we have any other business before the Finance Committee today? If not, I call the meeting adjourned at 9.